What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the go-home episode of this week's edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Roman Reigns breaks his silence on Jimmy Uso's DUI, CM Punk teases another Summer of Punk is coming, the network is upset with WWE, AEW reference Bray Wyatt and Bryan, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now, as always, we won't recap the matches, but just provide you with the good, the bad, and downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, RK Bro for life. Now, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle are more than an entertaining duo. They're the lifeblood of Raw right now. Last night's reconciliation between Orton and Riddle was a great culmination of the question of whether Orton and Riddle would put their differences aside or go their separate ways. While it's always difficult to tell what's going on in Randy Orton's maniacal mind, one of the many things that makes him such a compelling character, it looks like Riddle finally earned his respect. How long this lasts is anyone's guess, but for now, fans can enjoy arguably the oddest pairing in wrestling since The Rock and Mick Foley's Rock and Sock connection. Number 2, Nia Jax dominates. Now, it's not too often you'll find Nia Jax in our good section, but kudos to her for looking dominant in a tag team bout with Charlotte Flair against Nikki and Rhea Ripley. Jax's performance was a reminder that she has plenty of potential as a monster heel if she can just work on not being sloppy and careless with her opponents. Number 3, Reginald rocks. Our big props to 24/7 champion Reginald, who has helped to add some life to the 24/7 championship, a title that theoretically should have worn out its welcome weeks after its inception. As fans know, R-Truth helped add a much needed comedic aspect to the belt, but even R-Truth could carry things only so far. And now Reginald has entered the mix, the title seems to have gained the proverbial new lease on life, as it's one of the very few entertaining moments on Raw. And an interesting experiment. Speaking of interesting teams, Ali and Mansoor are developing into an unlikely but remarkable interesting pairing. The fact that they're clearly a mid-card team shouldn't lower their value, as the WWE needs to develop their mid-card, and if things continue to improve, Ali and Mansoor could rise up the ranks, providing Raw with another good tag team. While Raw's tag team division still needs considerable improvement, the Mansoor and Ali alliance is a good sign. But that was the good. What about the bad? As number 1, the Challenger Conundrum. Rhea Ripley's team with Raw Women's Champion Nikki Ash against Charlotte and Nia Jax was another logic-defying moment on Raw, and it's getting to the point where we can't even list all the Red Brand's bad segments, instead having to focus on the creme de la crap, with Ripley acting like Nikki's BFF, despite the fact that she's facing her this Saturday in a triple threat match at SummerSlam. Granted, Ripley hates Charlotte's guts, but the theme of can this team coexist has been gone from stale to deader than Lars Sullivan's career. Number 2, Lonely Elias. Now, looks like it might be time to replace those Lonely Virgil memes with the Lonely Elias memes, as no one seems to care that Elias is dead. He hasn't been setting the wrestling world on fire the last few months, and setting his guitar on fire doesn't seem to have done much to improve things either. What if someone held a funeral for you and no one came? Well, that's the question Elias seems to be facing, as the WWE's latest attempt to jumpstart his character has epic fail written all over it. Number 3, weak-ass booking. So let's get this straight. Bill Goldberg decided to challenge WWE Champion Bobby Lashley because Big Bad Bill wanted his son to see him wrestle in person. Okay, well, his motivation for challenging Bobby Lashley is one of the laziest pieces of writing in a long time, and Exhibit A in how little effort the WWE has spent booking Bill Goldberg against Lashley. It's clear that the Raw writers have spent as much time crafting the match's build-up as the match is going to take. Number 4, a weak-ass spear. Speaking of lazy, how about Goldberg's sorry-looking spear? Now sure, he doesn't get paid by the hour, nor does he pride himself on a vast array of moves, but can't he at least put some effort into the one move that he does know, the spear? Fans know they don't want to see Goldberg wreck himself, or more importantly, an opponent with a badly executed jackhammer, so do you think Billy Boy would have the spear down pat by now? Is this a case of Goldberg's age continuing to slow him down, or a case of Goldberg just not caring? And number 5, almost a champion. The WWE should have Nikki Cross ditch her almost a superhero gimmick and replace it with almost a champion, as her World Championship reign has been a complete dud despite Nikki's best efforts. The WWE is not booking her as a credible champion, which gives fans zero interest in getting behind her. Nikki has quickly fallen into the category of previously successful Money in the Bank cash-ins like Carmella, Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger, where their championship was treated like a fluke. Judging from things so far, Nikki may end up becoming the best example of what happens when the WWE has no idea what to do once you win a world title. Now, there was nothing downright ugly, but last night's Raw was a complete mess, where there was a lack of exciting matches, predictable storylines, or downright stupidity. And the WWE is worried about overhauling NXT when it should be looking at what's supposed to be its flagship show. Raw needs a complete overhaul, as outside of RK Bro, there's really nothing going on. Sure, there are occasional glimmers of hope like the Mansoor Ali alliance or Priest vs Sheamus, but past failures give fans no reason to get invested in these new programs. Even MVP and Bobby Lashley can't save the day because the WWE has no main event opponents for the almighty right now. Raw is devoid of energy and there's nothing for fans to latch on. We gotta feel sorry for fans who sit through 3 hours of Raw every week, hoping to catch a glimpse of what was once the hottest show not only in wrestling but of all Monday night television. But there you have it, guys. What did you think of Raw? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at the USA Network upset with WWE. The USA Network's continued frustration with WWE doesn't seem to have an end in sight, and it's apparently, according to the Mat Men podcast Andrew Zarian, USA Networks were not pleased when they learned the WWE plans on taping the next 3 weeks of the Black and Gold brand, with Zarian noting a source stated, "A tape show is not what we paid for." Zarian added that it's unknown if NXT is going to become a tape show on a regular basis. Seriously, the WWE has really done a great job of pissing off the USA Network lately, having a Hell in a Cell on SmackDown, getting rid of a top star like Bray Wyatt, and now they don't want shows being taped. Next up, CM Punk teases a new summer of Punk. As CM Punk continues to tease fans, or troll fans, as he recently posted the following numbers on his Instagram account: 05, 11, 21. Fans familiar with the Summer of Punk storylines from the Ring of Honor in 2005 and the WWE in 2011 are asking whether this is a not so subtle hint from the best in the world about his rumored Rampage debut on Friday. Is 2021 going to be the third Summer of Punk? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Roman Reigns breaks the silence on Jimmy Uso's DUI. How does Universal Champion Roman Reigns feel about his cousin's DUI? After all, Jimmy returned from an injury and was set to play a big part in Reigns' Tribal Chief storyline as one of his allies. During an interview with the New York Post, Roman commented, "We're all human, we're all cynics, we all make mistakes. Instead of what some people might feel you should give up on somebody or maybe turn your back on that type of behavior, that's one way to do it. But I don't think that's the way to push through and gain experience or make progressive movements of becoming a better man or a better human." So for me, it was driving into it with great attention, great love, and very thorough communication to make sure my family is continually bettering themselves and putting themselves in a position to make better decisions. Now, that's not to say that Reigns approved of the behavior. He told the Post that while he loves his family, he doesn't condone that kind of behavior or decision making, and remarked it's not a great light to be shining on his family or WWE. Jimmy's legal woes led to the question as to whether Uso would continue to be a part of the ongoing family alliance with Roman Reigns. And while there are likely to be consequences in and out of the ring, it's good that Reigns is there to support his cousin and hopefully Jimmy will get things together. To be honest, I think a third DUI would just be unforgivable. And finally, AEW referenced Bryan and Bray Wyatt. And last but not least, All Elite Wrestling has a number of main event WWE superstars who could be headed its way, and it looks like the promotion is more than happy to drop hints about who might be headed there next. We've already seen CM Punk's numerous hints about joining AEW, and during episode 269 of the YouTube channel Being the Elite, partying in Pittsburgh, Kenny Omega spots a WWE 2-pack of The Fiend and Daniel Bryan while looking for one of his AEW figures. Omega name drops The Fiend but ignores Bryan before putting one of his figures in the 2-pack's place. If you guys want to check this out, this is around 20 minutes in. Now, while Bryan is believed to be all elite, it's unknown what Wyatt's plans are once his non-compete clause concludes around Halloween. But there you have it, guys, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.